It's easy to dismiss small habits because they look so minor. What's the big deal if you read for 10 minutes today or skip it? What harm is there in moving your body for a few minutes or putting it off again? The truth is, it makes all the difference. Habits, no matter how small, quietly direct the course of your life. Think about it like this. Imagine an airplane taking off from Los Angeles, set for New York. If the nose of that plane shifts just a few degrees at takeoff, by the time it reaches the other side of the country, it won't land in New York at all. It'll end up hundreds of miles off track, maybe even in a different state. Life works the same way. Tiny habits determine your direction. A small adjustment today can set you on a completely different path tomorrow. Here's the good news. You get to decide. You already have the power to build the life you want simply by adjusting a few daily disciplines. It's not complicated. Success is not complicated. It's built on small actions repeated every single day. The secret word is consistency. Every day over time, that's where the magic happens. You don't need to flip your whole life upside down overnight. You don't need to make drastic changes tomorrow. Just begin with something small. Choose a handful of simple disciplines and practice them daily. Do that, and watch how your life begins to shift. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because you changed. Because you discovered that small habits create big results. Most people underestimate the power of habits. They tell themselves, what's the harm if I skip today? It's just one day. And yes, it is just one day. But the danger of just one day is that it quickly becomes just 1 week, then just 1 month. Before long, it's a lifetime of missed chances. That's how habits work, quietly, subtly, hardly noticeable in the moment, yet shaping everything over time. Think about it. How does someone end up in poor health? It doesn't happen overnight. It's one extra donut at a time, one skipped walk at a time. How does someone build wealth? Not in a single windfall. It's saving a little here, investing a little there. Success and failure are both built the same way, one choice at a time. People often tell me, Jim, I'm waiting for my big break. And I tell them, why wait for a big break? Why not create a small break today, another tomorrow, and another the next day? Because those little breaks, those small disciplines, are what lead to the big ones. You don't wait for success, you build it brick by brick, day by day. My mentor, Mr. Shove, taught me early, everything matters. Every decision, every action, every habit matters. He told me, Jim, everything affects everything else. And he was right. Skip reading today and it impacts your thinking tomorrow. Skip exercise today and it weakens your energy next week. Miss an act of kindness today and it may affect your relationships for years. Everything connects. Every habit carries weight. Here's the best part. You can begin anytime. You don't need approval. You don't need credentials. Just start. Read for 5 minutes. Take a short walk, save $1, make that call you've been delaying, then repeat it tomorrow, and again the next day. Soon, you've built momentum. And momentum is powerful. Momentum produces results. That's when life begins to shift, not because you're waiting for success, but because you're creating it habit by habit. Small disciplines lead to big rewards. Don't ignore this. Don't brush it off. Your habits today carve out your tomorrow. It's that simple and that serious. For years, people have told me, Jim, I want big changes. I'm tired of the same old routine. I need something dramatic. And every time I've said the same thing. Big results don't come from big changes. Big results come from small disciplines practiced consistently. Most people don't like hearing that. They'd rather wait for a miracle, for some dramatic overnight transformation. But miracles are rare. Dramatic changes don't last. What always works is the steady grind of daily habits, small actions, faithfully repeated. When I first started studying success, I thought I needed some massive breakthrough, a huge idea, a life-changing event. I even told Mr. Shove how stuck I felt. I told him I was waiting for something big. You know what he told me? He said, "Jim, life doesn't work that way. If you sit around waiting for a big change, you'll wait forever. What you need are a few simple daily disciplines. Pick a few things and do them every day. Forget dramatic. Focus on consistent." And he was right. Once I focused on the small habits, everything changed. I began reading a little each day, just a few pages. I started jotting down notes in the morning. I paid attention to what I ate, to how I spent my money. Nothing spectacular, but those small things started to stack up. And soon, momentum kicked in. And momentum, once it starts, will carry you further than you thought possible. Life is shaped not by your grand plans for someday, but by what you do today. Too many people live in someday. Someday I'll save. Someday I'll get healthy. Someday I'll read. Someday I'll change. But someday never arrives. Someday always turns into no day. You have to start today. Even if it's just one page, $1, one step, start today, do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. Soon, those tiny acts will create enormous results. Some say, "I don't have time to build new habits." But listen, we all get the same 24 hours. The difference between success and failure isn't more hours. It's how you use the hours you have. Successful people fill their time with small, productive habits. Unsuccessful people fill theirs with small, destructive ones. Both use habits, both use time, but only one group produces lasting results. Write this down. Your habits today shape your tomorrow. If you like where you are, keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't blame your circumstances. Don't blame other people. Look at your habits. They don't lie. They show exactly where you're headed. Change your habits and you'll change your course. It really is that simple. So today, choose wisely. Choose habits that pull you closer to your goals. Habits that make you stronger, wiser, better. Practice them every day. Stick with them. Be patient. And watch how those small disciplines build into something extraordinary, your dream life. A life not created by luck, not by accident, but by choice. By daily, consistent choices. Most people think success is complicated, that it's about chasing, struggling, fighting, but the truth is this. Success isn't something you chase. Success is something you attract by the person you become, and who you become is shaped by the habits you practice every day. Small habits, simple disciplines, repeated consistently, that's the real secret. Yet most people miss it. They keep chasing success, chasing money, chasing opportunities. But the harder they chase, the more it slips away, because success isn't caught. Success is attracted to the person who practices good habits daily. Improve your habits and you improve your results, and soon success will find you. Picture two people aiming for the same outcome: better health, more wealth, stronger relationships. One tries dramatic overnight changes, big effort, big push, but soon they burn out and quit. The other builds small habits, drinks more water, takes a morning walk, saves a few dollars each week. Nothing flashy, just steady, consistent action. Who wins? Of course, the one who stayed consistent, because success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. It's about doing the small, simple things until they become part of you. Once they become part of you, the results flow naturally. Success has always been, and will always be, the harvest of discipline. Remember this: small habits don't just shape your actions, they shape your identity. Practice health habits and you become healthy. Practice learning habits and you become wise. Practice financial habits and you become wealthy. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity determines your results. Have you ever wondered why so many people fail to stick with new habits? Most of the time, it's because they focus on changing behavior without first reshaping identity. They'll say, "I'm going on a diet," instead of "I'm someone who chooses to live healthy." They'll say, "I'll try to read more," instead of "I'm a lifelong learner." At first glance, it looks like a tiny difference, but in reality, it's everything. Habits last when they match your identity. Shift who you see yourself as, and the habits naturally line up. That's where real transformation begins. Take smoking, for example. One person says, "I'm trying to quit." Another says, "I'm not a smoker." Which one has the higher chance of success? The second one. Why? Because habits always follow identity. When who you believe yourself to be matches the habit, it sticks. It becomes automatic. And once positive habits turn automatic, life improves with less effort. Discipline feels natural. Results become inevitable. Here's the truth. Your future doesn't arrive by accident or luck. It's built day by day through the habits you practice. Small, daily disciplines carve out tomorrow. And the best part, that means the power is in your hands. Your life isn't controlled by the economy, your boss, or your circumstances. It's guided by your habits. Change your habits, change your identity, and everything else will follow naturally, permanently, powerfully. And it doesn't take huge, overwhelming effort, just steady, consistent effort. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with one or two small disciplines. Practice them until they feel natural. Let them become part of who you are. Soon your results will catch up with your new identity. Healthier body, stronger finances, better relationships, all from simple, consistent actions. Nothing complex, nothing dramatic, just deliberate repetition. I'll be honest, early in my life I had a bad habit of blaming. If things weren't working, I pointed at my job, my boss, the economy, everything but myself. And guess what? Nothing changed. In fact, life got harder. Blame never solves a thing. It only delays the solution. It postpones responsibility. And as long as I kept blaming, I stayed stuck. Then one day, my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, gave me a truth that shook me. He said, "Jim, you can either keep blaming or you can take responsibility and change yourself. But you can't do both." That hit me like a brick wall. Because I finally saw it. I'd been waiting for circumstances to change when the only real change I needed was within me. I could shift my habits. I could shift my choices. I could shift my entire future. That's the power of responsibility. Once you accept that your future is shaped by your habits, not by luck, not by others, you take back control. Suddenly you're no longer a victim of circumstances. You become the architect of your own life, the designer of your destiny. That shift changes everything. It moves you from powerless to powerful, from waiting to creating. Most people drift through life reacting. They let circumstances run them. They keep waiting, the right job, the right timing, the right economy, the right partner. But successful people don't wait. They decide. They say, "If I want better, I must become better. If I want things to change, I must change." Your life improves only when you improve. Your results get better only when your habits get better. And when that truth clicks, your world shifts forever. Because you're no longer waiting for fortune or timing. You're building your own future, one choice at a time. And here's the beautiful part. When you take responsibility, you don't need anyone's permission. You can start now. Think about it. If your finances are where you want them, you don't need the stock market to change. You can start saving today. You can start investing wisely today. Small habits, small decisions, done immediately. If your health isn't where you'd like, you don't need perfect conditions. You can choose better food today. You can move your body today. You can sleep well tonight. Responsibility gives you immediate power. It puts you in motion now. It doesn't wait. It doesn't stall. It acts today. The moment I took full responsibility for my life, everything shifted. Instead of pointing at my paycheck, I worked on myself. I worked on my habits. I sharpened my skills. I invested in my growth. And soon my paycheck grew, not because the company suddenly changed, but because I did. Not because someone decided to pay me more, but because I became more valuable. When you raise your worth through discipline and consistent habits, the world notices. Opportunities come. Results follow. And this truth works everywhere. Relationships improve when you take responsibility for your words, your patience, your kindness. Careers improve when you take responsibility for learning, producing, and delivering more. Life improves when you stop blaming what's outside and start shaping what's inside. Remember this, you cannot control everything around you, but you can always control how you respond. You control your choices, you control your habits, and in doing so, you control your destiny. Once that truth sinks in, blaming becomes pointless. Complaining becomes useless. Excuses lose their value. What matters is disciplined action, consistent, steady effort. So today decide, no more blame, no more excuses. Choose growth. Choose responsibility, start small, stay consistent, and watch your life transform because it will. It always does. Here's something else I learned about habits. It's not only about building the good ones. It's also about replacing the bad ones. We all have habits. The real question is, are yours helping you or holding you back? Are they pulling you forward or keeping you stuck? If they're holding you back, they've got to go, not someday, today. Here's the mistake most people make when breaking bad habits. They just try to stop. I'll quit smoking. I'll stop eating junk. I'll cut out gossip. But here, the problem. When you remove something, you leave a vacuum. And life hates vacuums. Something else will rush in, and if you don't fill it with something good, something worse often sneaks in. That's why most people fail. The secret isn't just to stop, it's to replace. Don't just say, I'll stop eating junk. Say, I'll start eating fruit. Don't just say, I'll quit smoking. Say, I'll start walking or breathing deeply instead. The key is intentional replacement. That's how you keep old habits from sneaking back in. So how do you do this practically? Step 1. Identify the habit you need to change. Be brutally honest. What's really holding you back? Maybe it's hitting snooze. Maybe it's overspending. Maybe it's wasting time. Write it down. Clarity is power. You can't change what you won't face. Step 2. Decide exactly what positive habit will replace it. Be specific. Don't just say, I'll quit snoozing. Say, when I wake up, I'll read something positive for 10 minutes. Don't just say, I'll stop wasting money. Say, I'll save $10 every time I feel like spending unnecessarily. Don't just stop gossip. Replace it with encouragement. Be clear, be intentional. Replace the bad with something good. And soon your habits won't just change, you will. Here's a crucial step most people miss. Make the good habit easy and the bad habit hard. Want to give up junk food? Don't let it live in your house. Instead, stock up on healthier snacks. Want to cut down on television? Unplug it, move it out of sight, and put a book right where you normally sit. A small shift in your environment can create a massive shift in your behavior. Let me share a quick example. Early in my career, I wanted to read more, but I was hooked on TV. So I didn't just try to stop watching. I moved the television to another room. Then I placed a stack of books right next to my chair. Guess what happened? Each night, instead of reaching for the remote, I reached for a book. Before long, reading became my default habit, and TV faded into the background. Not because of willpower alone, but because of design. And while you're building new habits, here's something critical. Track your progress. Every day you follow through, mark it down. Use a calendar, a notebook, or even a simple app. Why? Because what gets tracked improves. Every checkmark builds momentum. Every streak boosts confidence. Each mark whispers, you're becoming someone new. And don't overlook rewards. Habits lock in faster when they're reinforced. Celebrate the wins, even the small ones. 1 week of consistency. Give yourself a small reward. Rewards make discipline enjoyable. They make progress feel good. And when progress feels good, you keep going. But there's another truth you must hold on to. Be patient. Habits don't transform overnight. They took time to form, and they'll take time to shift. You'll slip now and then, that's normal. Just don't stay down. Get back up quickly. Because success isn't perfection. Success is persistence. Momentum, not flawless execution, is the key. Replacing harmful habits with positive ones is one of the most practical, powerful ways to reshape your life. It's not theory, it works. And you can begin right now. Pick one habit, replace it deliberately, and your life begins to shift step by step. But here's the ultimate test. Anyone can keep habits when life is smooth. Anyone can save money when there's plenty to save. Anyone can eat right when there's time to cook. Anyone can read when the house is quiet. But what happens when life gets messy? That's when habits matter most, not in calm times, but in storms. People tell me, Jim, I was doing so well and then life hit me. My car broke down, my workload doubled, my family needed me. Suddenly my habits fell apart. And I tell them, that's exactly when your habits should hold you up, not abandon you. Good habits aren't just for sunny days. They're your anchor when the storm comes. But here's the catch. Habits don't protect you automatically. You must protect them. That requires planning. Think of a farmer. He doesn't just plant seeds and cross his fingers for sunshine. He prepares for storms. He builds fences. He digs irrigation. He covers against frost. He doesn't wait for trouble, he plans for it. Your habits require the same care. So how do you protect them? Start by anticipating challenges. Expect the tough days. If your habit is exercise, plan a shorter routine for busy days so you never skip. That's how momentum survives. Keep your habits flexible. If they're too rigid, one rough day can break them. Instead, adjust. Can't run 5 miles, walk for 15 minutes. Flexibility keeps consistency alive. Build reminders. Habits thrive in structure. Write them down. Put cues in plain sight. Set alarms if you need to. Reminders hold you steady when life feels chaotic. Tie your habits to something meaningful. If they're only surface level, they'll crumble under pressure. But if they're linked to freedom, vitality, or your vision of a better life, they'll stand strong. Purpose makes habits unshakable. And surround yourself with support. Accountability and encouragement make discipline easier. With the right people reinforcing your growth, habits multiply. Never forget, good habits are not about convenience. They're your defense. Discipline is stability. Discipline is protection. Habits remind you of who you are, especially when everything around you is falling apart. Life will always deliver storms, that's guaranteed. You can't avoid them, but you can prepare. Build your habits intentionally, protect them carefully, and they won't just survive, they'll thrive. People often ask me, Jim, what's the real secret? They look for magic shortcuts. But the truth is simple. Small habits practiced daily create big results. Always. Reflect on this when you wake in the morning. Reflect again before you go to bed. Why do small habits matter? Because they build momentum. Why is responsibility everything? Because it keeps you in control. Why replace bad habits with good ones? Because that's how you shape your future. And why protect habits? Because that's how you make results last. These aren't complicated ideas. They're simple, but they transform lives. They transformed mine. They can transform yours. Your future isn't something to wait for. It's something to build. One habit at a time. One choice at a time. Your habits today are carving your tomorrow. They're shaping everything. And that gives you incredible power. The power to design, the power to grow, the power to transform, and it begins not later but now. So start small, stay consistent, be patient, protect your disciplines, and never underestimate the power of small daily habits. Because small disciplines, repeated faithfully, always produce extraordinary results. Always. So choose carefully, act deliberately, trust the process. And remember, success isn't just possible. With the right habits, it's inevitable.